on the same page, we move on to this binary game. I kind of introduced so this idea of language, we need to speak to the computer in a language that I know and the computer knows at the same time. And most computers work in codes, and binary is a good example of one. So this activity, like I said before, introduces them to codes. And does anyone not have one? No? Okay, so we'll talk about anytime you have a code, right? Let's say you want to decode something. What do you need in order to decode that thing?
A key.
What do you?
A key. Okay, what else? Anything else? So you need a key, but
They need symbols.
okay, symbols. That might be introduced as something like the rules of the language, right? You can have a key, but you also have to know the way the language works. So this paper, you can say it's a legend, but it's more like rules. Bob?
Well, there'll be some words or symbols that the computer already understands, and then there'll be others that it doesn't understand, and you have to be able to work from what it understands to move into getting the computer to understand.
Right. So, but binary, for example, is not a computer language, but it's the language in which computer stores information. Okay, and I would introduce this it's going to be a challenge. Every group is competing, and you have task 1. I'm giving it out right now. Based on the rules, the rules give you basically a blueprint of how the language works. And at this point, depending on what age group I'm working with, I would either talk to a class about the rules, as a class, what does number 1 mean? What does number 2 mean? What does number 3 mean? Or, for older students, I can just have them read the rules as a group and just start the activity right when I give out the tasks. And once you finish task 1, then I'll give out task 2. And once you finish task 2, okay? So what do you guys think about that kind of format? So my question is, do I go over the rules explicitly with the students? Or do I walk around and facilitate groups who may need some help with the rules and allow groups who already got it to go on with the task?
So it depends on how well you know the class. Because I know in our class, at least in our science, we say the rules for the class, and not everybody gets it, so we just end up eventually just going around to each group and explaining the rules over again to each
Right.
group. So it depends on, I guess it depends.
On the age group, maybe? Or just the
age
class
group
in
or
general?
Yeah, the class in general.
Okay, yeah.
I think if this is the intro to computer science, you're not going to go through the rules together as a class, because then you may, by going over it together, you may get people to get it, and then when you start the game, you go after that.
Right.
If you don't get it. But I would say first go through it together in class.
Okay.
And then we'll move to it.
Okay, so I think for time, we won't go over it as a class, but I'll be walking around facilitating anyone who may need some help.
We're producing one sheet as a group.
That's another thing, yeah. So what do you think?
No, everybody should do their own.
Individual.
But you're working as the challenge is a group thing.
Right, but everybody in terms of variety.
You want to have evidence of them doing work, I think by holding the accountable for on worksheet is a good way to do that.
Okay, so yes, everyone does their own work then.
So-
For this